welcome you again to the open classroom, particularly for those of you of the Jewish faith, like myself. I want to wish you a Happy New Year, which starts in about 45 minutes. And for those of you who are Red Sox fans and are still here, it will be over before the fourth inning, so we will be able to see what happens. And of course, most of the fireworks, as you know, happen in the 7th and 8th innings. So we'll be able to do that. I got wonderful comments from many of you about last week's speaker, our own Professor Nathanson. Tonight you're going to hear from a dear colleague of mine from a previous institution where I taught for 16 years, Boston College. Just previews of coming attractions before I introduce Professor Wolfe. Next week you do not want to miss at all, any more than tonight. We have Professor Richard Wilkinson coming from England, who is a superstar. In fact, I got to know him when we were both on Tom Ashbrook's show, On Point. He has written with his colleague, Kate Pickett, one of the most controversial books that you will hear about this year, probably as controversial as the book we're going to hear about tonight, which is Mr. Wilkinson and his colleague are both epidemiologists. They study, they're statisticians who study health. And what Richard and his colleague have done is to collect over the last 20 years an enormous amount of data on social and health well-being in developed countries. And having churned this all through many computers, they come to the conclusion that one of the factors that most explains differences in social and individual pathologies of many kinds, from crime statistics to suicide to homicide, you name it, is the degree of inequality in society. And you might ask the question, why would a country with greater inequality like the United States have less of this than a country like Sweden or Norway that I visited last year? Well, they're going to explain it. To give you an idea, he will also be on NPR doing a show here just before class, and that morning they're filming a documentary with him early in the morning. And we'll also be having Richard at Boston University next Monday with Governor Malloy of Connecticut. So this is somebody who I think you'll have a lot of fun. Quite honestly, truth in packaging, when I first asked Alan if he would come here, one of the most distinguished professors of political science in the country, I was hoping that he would take a look at classical kind of political science and tell us something about the role of government from the time of the early Greeks through Jefferson, Madison, Adams, you name it. He prevailed on me to allow him to give a lecture based on his newest book. In fact, his newest book is so new that it came out yesterday. It was published yesterday, which is to say that his newest book, Political Evil, What It Is and How to Combat It, is literally hot off the press. In fact, we couldn't even get copies for a book table tonight. Alan is an old friend of mine. He's, as I said, the professor of political science at Boston College. He's also director of the Boise Center for Religion and American Public Life at BC. He's an author of more than 20 books. He puts out a new book about every 11 months. Books like The Future of Liberalism, Does American Democracy Still Work? Return to Greatness, How America Lost Its Sense of Purpose and What It Needs to Do to Recover, published by such presses as Knopf, Princeton, and the Yale University Press. He holds a doctorate in political science from the University of Pennsylvania. Currently chairs a task force, or at least recently chaired a task force of the American Political Science Association on religion and democracy in the United States. He serves on advisory boards to Humanity in Action and the Future of America Foundation. I could go on and on and on. You may have read him in many journals, including the New Republic, Commonwealth Magazine, the Atlantic, Washington Post. So we are very honored to have Professor Alan Wolfe with us tonight to discuss his newest book, Political Evil. Alan.